So I think the sports choose me, I never look at that. I encounter like surf and kite surf before in my life, and I never thought, wow, okay, I need to do that. And at some point I got the opportunity because I met someone on the road who was kite surfing, and I jumped in the adventure, and it became part of my life. Those kind of sports, when you get in, it's a lifestyle. It's hard to have that as a hobby, like football or tennis. You can do it like once a year on vacation. It's literally you change your life for that. And what I love about those kind of sport, it's pushing you. It's pushing you, but in a natural way. Tennis will be pushing your limits, like you will need to get better and get more competent, but you're always at the mercy of nature. And this could be hard. Like someday you can go out and nature is stronger than you, and it's bigger than your limits, and you need to push your limits and get comfortable in pushing your limits. And this is resilience. Resilience is about getting comfortable outside of your limits, outside of your control zone, outside of your comfort zone. And that's what I like about those sports, because I can see myself progressing, and I can see myself becoming comfortable in some situations that were uncomfortable before. Recently, I went back to a surf break that I used when I arrived here, and it was big. It was one of those big days where all the locals are out because it's good. And I remember 3 years ago, I could never have gone in those conditions. And I was there, and I was like, wow, I'm not scared to be here, And then if you translate that to my life, like if you want to see how I translate that into my life, seasonal job is not always easy. It's intense. You work a lot. It's tiring. It's a lot. The balance is unbalanced for a little bit, And it's my 5th year this year going back to Canada for a season job. And I used to have this small seasonal trauma that you have, like from working intensively. And but I see now that I'm getting comfortable. Like it's not a challenge anymore. I know what I'm going. I know this is going to be outside of my comfort zone. It's always, every year it grows. Every year the company is bigger. Every year I have more employees. I need to manage more stuff, more customer, but I'm getting more resilient. Like I know I will go through that. I've been in the past, and the sports, the surf, the kite surf, the wing foil, they're all showing me that I can go through it. I can make it. It may be painful, but I will do it. Like I will get past the break. And this is a good, learning to transpose in your life. So when I started being an engineer, I had this adventurous craving. So I was going out on the weekends and stuff like that. I was going hiking. I was always doing stuff on my free time. And what happened is when I was living abroad in Paris, I started being zero waste. Okay, so I started being really ecological, really intentional about what I produce for waste. And this came with the minimalist thinking. Okay, how reducing your possession and stuff like that. And I realized, so I've always been someone curious. I want to progress. I want to progress in my personal life, and I want to progress in my professional life. And so the conventional way of thinking is, okay, you get grade, you get better salary every year, you get promotion and stuff like that. And this is something for a long time that I was thinking. But when I became minimalist, I started realizing that I didn't need that much money. I could live and with a lot less. I didn't need that. It's just the normal way of thinking. And I started craving free time because I was working in corporate, and in corporate you're not paid by hours, you're paid by years. So like you can make 50 hours a week, 55 hours, there can be like a lot of time, but I didn't have time. And when I realized I didn't need that money, and I started thinking about like taking a sabbatical year, and at first it was just a 1-year thing. And then, you know, with life being life, things change, and I decided to quit. And I ended up in front of a blank page, and I ended up being able to write my own story and redefining what was my life goal. And one of my life goals was I wanted to have a better balance. I wanted to have more time. And this is something I've seen from year one. Like, so year one was adventure. I had money, I was young, I had a van, everything was unfolding in front of me. Year two, I did a small contract abroad in Tanzania and started working in a seasonal place. And I was like, wow, how rich I am. I'm rich not because I have money, because I have time. I can spend my time the way I want. And that switch in life goal, like having time and not having money. Yeah, of course, we all need money, but what I want is having time, having the freedom to choose when I work, to choose where I work, to choose can I go surfing today, can I go walking, can I take some time for myself. And this for me, I feel like I'm super rich, even if my bank account is not showing that, but just because I have time. Like, people don't realize how much of a limited resources this is. And this, for me, year two of this journey, I realize it, and now I know that I'm richer than all my friends just for that. Now I'm trusting universe. Like, you know, before I was making plans and stuff like that, but I've seen so many times now that plans can change. This, when I was an engineer, when I was working in a normal, conventional, you know, setup, I had more difficulties. I've always been someone who's able to adapt, but you know, I had plans. So when my plans was not going like I wanted, I was making sure that I was back on track. Now what I do is, like, if plans don't go like I planned them, I'm interested. I'm like, where this is bringing me? You know, what's on the other side? Like, it doesn't work out, good. Let's move on. And this for me was more difficult when I was in a conventional lifestyle. In this alternative lifestyle, I've learned and had the proof many times now that there's always something later. So yeah, another thing that I realize is the many version that I can be, you know. So I didn't see my life like chapters before, and now that I'm in this alternative lifestyle, I see Eveline as different version of herself through different chapters. I feel like before starting all that, yeah, you're always growing and you're always like becoming a better version, but now I feel like I'm different person. And I love that. I love to see, what's in front of me, or what's in the past, like who I was before and like how I've changed. And definitely with this lifestyle, because you're constantly moving places or country, or even if you have a pattern, like, you know, yeah, today I've been in between Ecuador and Canada for a few years now, but it's always a new time in my life and a new chapter, and now I'm like excited for all the new version of myself I will have in front of me. And I'm seeing that like that, this is going to be a new version of Eveline. Like, if we have kids, this is going to be Eveline mom. And then if we do this big road trip that we want to do from Alaska to Patagonia, this is going to be the Eveline, the second time she's like quitting everything. And so seeing my life as chapters is another thing that I was not expected. For me, I was just going on a sabbatical year, but then it ended up being like 5 other versions of me, So that's It's funny because since COVID, so what happened in the COVID phase is I was nomad for a year and a half, and out of the sudden I could not travel anymore. I needed to be back in my home country, which is Canada, and I didn't have a house. I was out of Canada for more than 5 years at that time because I had lived in another country before starting traveling, and I felt like I didn't have a home, and it was really, really strange for me. I had a roof, so what happened is I went to friends' places. I went to, I found solution, and I always had a roof, but I didn't have a home, and that was so traumatizing for me. And at that stage in my life, I started working about what's home, what's my definition of home. And what changed starting at that point is I realized that home is within you. It's not related to a place or a house. It's really, I can bring home wherever I go. And I started working towards that definition, that you always have home inside and your body is your home. And I had always taken care of my body and diet and everything, but I started thinking about it in a different way. Like, this is my home, I need to take care of it. And if, I was definitely already in that nomadic lifestyle and that nomadic journey, but it was this moment, the COVID phase, was transformative for me as it was for many people. But this is when I choose that this is the alternative lifestyle I wanted to live. And starting at that point, home became my body and myself. And now today, it's funny because I have different roots in different places. I have different houses in construction, but I still feel that home is always within me. And it's always going with me everywhere I go. For me, solo traveling is so important. It's something I want to do all my life. Like, even with family, partner, with having good friends, I hope I will still solo travel in my life. And what I've seen through the years is, like, when I go on those solo trips, I always learn better about myself. Like, I face challenges, I face loneliness sometimes, I face happiness too. I face happiness that I'm sharing with myself because I'm alone. And it's something really beautiful to be comfortable with yourself. And it happened to me that I was in solo trip after a breakup, after, in front of a blank page, that I was solo tripping and I was having doubt. Like, is it nice to be alone? Is it good? Even when I'm happy, and then every time I'm come back to, this is the best person, I'm with the best person I can, like, this is myself. And I really think that we're born on earth, and we're going to meet people, build family and stuff like that, build community, but at the end of life, you're always by yourself. Like, and you need to be comfortable with yourself. And solo tripping for me is always like meeting the new version of Eveline, because Eveline is constantly evolving. Like, I had many versions of myself. And I love, every year when I do that solo trip, I will meet the new version of myself and see how I transform and what changed. And I love that. I'm really love that. Being comfortable with yourself is not easy, but it's something so fulfilling. Like, not needing anybody for feeling your own happiness. It's hard, but it's important. You need to be there for you first before you can help others and before others can help you. So that's one of the reasons why I love solo traveling. I never been someone looking for love. Like, I was lucky enough to meet people through my life and decided to share a part of my life. And obviously, every time I enter in a relationship, I want the best, and I wanna wish for a long lifestyle, a long entire life relationship. But I trust life, I trust universe to bring in front of me the person I need. So I met different people and I just go with the flow. I went with the flow. I met them. And it's funny because all of my ex-partner, I can see how we were not compatible a long time. It was a, a, a sudden thing, a sudden event, and then we were together for the time that we needed. And when I met my current partner 3 years ago, already 3 years ago, I was not expecting that. I was really not expecting that. We were not speaking the same language. We were not, I didn't think my life was going to turn towards Ecuador. But I trust the universe that, if it's meant to be, it's going to be. And if for some reason we need to change, I trust my capacity to adapt and know when it's time for me to get out. And in the meantime, I'm trying to enjoy every step of the process. Like, I love to see my life in chapters, and I hope like my current boyfriend will stay the main character for the next chapter of the books. But if for a reason, it doesn't unfold like that, there's going to be another end of the story, and I'm going to enjoy this part of the story for the moment. So what I've learned through my last relationship, and also knowing myself, solo traveling, like, when you solo travel, you have time to think and you have time to reflect on your past, is I need to share values. So adventure is one of them, honestly is one of them. Being authentic is one of them. And of course, my current partner and myself, we do have different values, So it's a question of having two circles and what's in the middle. And, we can still be different, but we need to have like the core values the same. And I saw that right away with Henry, who was not even speaking my language. Like, I saw how adventurous it was, and I saw how honest he was. Like, we got a bill at the restaurant early in our relationship, and the woman forgot to put some stuff on the bill, and he came back to pay, and I was like, wow, this is honest, and sharing. Like, he was, I was reflecting on past relationship, and I was reflecting how, I like to share with people. And early in a relationship, he made a meal for ourselves, and someone was near, and he was like, he gave him a plate. And for me, that was like, wow, okay, he has this sharing value, So values are really, really important. And well, the other thing that I can say, because it's kind of related to your question, is like, about love and versus solo traveling and everything. And the one learning I've done since the start of this crazy nomadic journey is you need to adapt. You can make plans, but then plans will change, and sometimes it's out of your control. Sometimes it's, worldwide, COVID-wise. Sometimes it's financial, your work, your parents, your family. You just need to learn to adapt and how you respond to a situation. So I was not planning to be in a relationship. I was really good alone. I had like plans. I wanted to go back with my van in Mexico, and then I met Henry and we fall in love. And I changed my plan the same way I changed my plan at first. And at first, when I started road tripping, I had something lined up for a full year, and then I met a guy and I decided to just change everything. And today, with 6 years, looking 6 years backward, I can say that it was the best decision I made. Like, my life went in another direction, and I'm so glad I followed the flow. I'm so glad I didn't fight and just trust universe to bring me to where I needed to go. So if there's something I want to say to Evelyne's mom is, first, you're going to be another version. So don't try to make it work with this version of yourself. Just be the new version you will be. So it's kind of a grief to think that I'm going to live that. This is why it was so hard for me to take this decision, because I was like deciding to put on side my current life for a kid, for putting someone else in the middle. I want to be fully with that version of myself, and if it's a grief, it's a grief, but I want to be with that new version. It's going to be a new woman. And I also want to be like this adventurous mom. I'm not going to be more at home. I want to go on trips. I don't want to. Yes, of course, I will, put the kids in the center, but I think that we can do it, and I think that we can be those people who are inspiring for other family and still be adventurous even with kids. She will tell me enjoy it until the end of this version of yourself. Do it all. Don't think. She will tell me, don't think too much about this new version. Like, just enjoy the end of this version, and don't overthink it. Don't be there for the end of the chapter, and because obviously it was a decision to take, especially that I had in my life I had wanted kids, and then my life changed directions many times. So at some point I took the decision to not have kids, and it was like the end of the chapters. And now with my partner, we're somewhere else in life. He really wants some, and so we're taking that decision. So it's reopening a new direction, and it's coming with a lot of anxiety and stress and question, but so a lot of thinking. And I think she will tell me like, just enjoy the current chapter.
Mountains call her name at dawn. Clouds her canopy till they're gone. She rides her tail